Many people spend hours scrolling through social media each day to stay informed. However, this habit often leads to misinformation and increased anxiety rather than clarity. Understanding how to filter and evaluate information can directly improve your decision-making and mental well-being. By the way, this channel shares one thoughtful insight like this every day. If this perspective is useful, consider subscribing. In today's rapidly evolving technological landscape, automation is no longer a futuristic concept. It's a present reality reshaping industries, workplaces, and everyday life. From self-driving cars navigating our streets to algorithms managing financial markets, automated systems are increasingly entrusted with tasks once performed exclusively by humans. This shift raises urgent questions about responsibility and accountability. When machines make decisions or take actions, who is ultimately responsible for the outcomes? This issue matters now more than ever, because as automation expands, the lines of accountability become blurred, creating significant ethical, legal, and social challenges. One critical area illustrating these challenges is autonomous vehicles. When a self-driving car is involved in an accident, determining fault is complex. Is it the manufacturer's design flaw, the software developer's coding error, the vehicle owner's maintenance negligence, or even the infrastructure's inadequacy? Current legal systems struggle to adapt because traditional liability models assume human drivers are in control, but automation disrupts this assumption. As a result, insurance companies, lawmakers, and courts must devise new frameworks that can fairly assign responsibility in scenarios where human intervention is minimal or non-existent. Beyond transportation, automation in healthcare further complicates accountability. AI-powered diagnostic tools can analyze medical images and patient data with remarkable speed and accuracy. Yet, when these systems produce incorrect diagnoses or treatment recommendations, the consequences can be severe. Healthcare providers face the dilemma of trusting automated decisions versus exercising clinical judgment. Moreover, if an AI system's error harms a patient, questions arise about whether liability lies with the software developers, the medical institution deploying the technology, or the individual practitioners who relied on it. These ambiguities highlight the need for clear regulations and ethical guidelines to govern the deployment of automated tools in critical sectors. The workplace transformation caused by automation also has social implications. As machines take over repetitive or hazardous tasks, human roles shift towards supervision, maintenance, and decision-making. While this can improve safety and efficiency, it also creates accountability gaps when automated systems malfunction. Employees may be uncertain about when to intervene or how much control they should exert, potentially leading to complacency or over-reliance on technology. Furthermore, automation can disrupt job security and exacerbate inequality, raising questions about the responsibility of corporations and governments to support affected workers. These dynamics underscore that accountability in automation extends beyond technical faults to encompass broader social and economic responsibilities. Another dimension of accountability in automation involves data privacy and security. Automated systems, especially those powered by artificial intelligence, rely heavily on large datasets to function effectively. This dependence raises concerns about who is accountable when sensitive personal information is misused, leaked, or exploited. For example, if an AI-driven hiring tool inadvertently discriminates against candidates based on biased historical data, it can perpetuate systemic inequalities. In such cases, responsibility is diffuse. Is it the developers who designed the algorithms, the organizations that implemented them, or regulators who failed to enforce adequate safeguards? This complexity complicates efforts to protect individuals' rights and highlights the need for transparency in how automated systems collect and process data. Moreover, the global nature of many automated technologies adds another layer of accountability challenges. Automated systems often operate across jurisdictions with varying legal standards and cultural expectations. For instance, a social media platform using AI to moderate content might comply with regulations in one country, but violate laws elsewhere regarding free speech or censorship. This disparity makes it difficult to establish consistent accountability standards and enforce them effectively. International cooperation and harmonization of regulations may become necessary to address these cross-border issues. But achieving consensus is a formidable task given divergent political and economic interests. The psychological impact of automation also merits consideration in the accountability debate. As decision-making shifts from humans to machines, individuals may experience a sense of loss of control or autonomy. This can affect trust in institutions and technology providers, especially if transparency about automated processes is lacking. When people do not understand how algorithms arrive at decisions, whether in credit scoring, job recruiting, or law enforcement, they may feel powerless to challenge outcomes. This erosion of agency can have broader social consequences, including decreased civic engagement and increased polarization. Therefore, accountability mechanisms must include efforts to educate users and provide avenues for appeal and redress in automated decision-making systems. The economic ramifications of automation-induced accountability are equally significant. Businesses deploying automated systems must balance innovation with risk management. When automation errors lead to financial losses or reputational damage, companies face pressure not only from customers, but also from investors and regulators. This dynamic incentivizes firms to invest in robust testing, ethical AI design, and comprehensive employee training. However, smaller enterprises may lack the resources to implement these safeguards effectively, potentially widening the gap between large technology firms and smaller competitors. Consequently, policy interventions might be necessary to ensure equitable standards and prevent monopolistic advantages stemming from superior accountability infrastructure. Education systems also confront new demands as automation redefines skill requirements. Preparing the future workforce involves teaching not only technical competencies, but also critical thinking about technology's ethical and societal impacts. Embedding accountability principles into STEM curricula can empower students to develop and deploy automated solutions responsibly. Moreover, lifelong learning initiatives are essential for current workers adapting to evolving roles shaped by automation. Without widespread educational reforms, the accountability of automated technologies risks being undermined by a workforce ill-equipped to identify and mitigate potential harms or biases inherent in these systems. Speak. In the realm of public policy, governments face the challenge of crafting legislation that keeps pace with rapid technological advances. Traditional regulatory approaches often lag behind innovation cycles, creating regulatory vacuums where accountability is unclear or unenforced. Adaptive regulatory frameworks, such as sandbox environments or iterative policy updates, offer potential pathways to balance innovation with public protection. Additionally, involving multidisciplinary stakeholders, including technologists, ethicists, legal experts, and affected communities, in policy development can enhance the legitimacy and effectiveness of accountability measures. Transparency in policymaking and clear communication about regulatory goals are vital to building public trust. Finally, the evolving relationship between humans and automated systems calls for a re-examination of ethical frameworks underpinning accountability. Concepts such as moral agency and responsibility need to be reconsidered in contexts where autonomous systems make consequential decisions. Philosophical debates about attributing blame or credit in human-machine interactions influence legal doctrines and organizational practices. Developing shared ethical standards that transcend cultural and disciplinary boundaries could facilitate more consistent accountability across diverse applications of automation. This ethical groundwork is crucial to ensuring that as technology advances, it does so in ways aligned with societal values and human dignity. As we navigate the complexities of our interconnected world, it becomes increasingly clear that responsibility cannot be diffused or ignored. Every decision, whether made by individuals, corporations, or governments, carries consequences that ripple beyond immediate outcomes. Embracing values like transparency, accountability, and ethical consideration is not optional but essential for sustaining trust and progress. This demands a willingness to confront difficult trade-offs, recognizing that short-term gains often come at the expense of long-term stability or equity. The challenge lies in prioritizing collective well-being over convenience or expediency. In this context, passivity is itself a choice, one that permits deterioration rather than fosters improvement. How we respond to these challenges will define not only our era, but the legacy passed to future generations. Responsibility, then, is not a burden, but a deliberate act of stewardship, grounded in conscious values.